Hi guys, good morning. In today's class, we will learn how to add assertions in JMeter. Assertion, as you know, being an automation engineer, being a QA, that any verification point in your test could be your assertion. So it's kind of verification point which trigger the error or which impact the result of the test case. So for example, if your verification point is not matched or not verifiable, and in that case it will create an error and eventually it will fail your test. So for example, if a user logs into the home page, but in home page your verification point is to assert the welcome note. So if there is no welcome available on the page, means that page is not a home page and that is something else. So similarly, the same concept here in JMeter. So for example, if I open one of my created project to make it easier for you. So let's open this. So this is my entire project. I have some tests written. So consider these all are requests, right? So now, for example, for each of the request, I need to make sure that, for example, in this session filter, I need to know that what kind of response code it is giving me once the API is executed. So for the APIs, these all are APIs, or you can say the requests, which will be executed in order to simulate the test case. So for example, in one of the API, I need to assert that. So let me delete this response assertion first. So if I remove it, yes, and remove this. So now I have no assertions. So in the end, if I need to add assertion, I will go to add. I can do it with any API, right? So for example, in the login. So if the login screen comes correctly or not, I need to verify that. I can go to add by right clicking that API, go to assertion. Now there are, as you can see, many types of assertions are built in JMeter, which are enough, more than enough for us to put assertions and verifications points throughout our test. So this is the most commonly used assertion, response assertion. So if I click that, as you can see the screen of response assertion, so it is asking me that which field I need to test. But before setting the field, I need to make sure and give the input as to should it look in the main sample of the API. For example, these are the main sample, but if I open each sample, it could have subsamples as well. Some requests have subsamples, some requests does not have subsamples. So you need to mention that. So let's say if I say okay, main sample and subsamples, also you can search that assertion. And do I need to have a text response or text header response code? So let's say I am saying that within the response message, you should see 200. 200 is like success, right? So 200 appears when the API gives you success. So now it is asking me here in pattern matching rules, it is asking me, should I match it? My input should be equals to the one expected. So if I say equals, it will equally match 200. If I say contains, it will get pass if 200 is appearing within the response message of that API or any of the subsample API. So whenever it sees 200, that's it will pass. So it is a light kind of assertion, whereas if I say equals, it should be equal to 200, nothing more, nothing less. So if I say okay, contains first, so now it is saying pattern to test. So within pattern to test, we can go to add, and we can double click, we can add 200, and I can save this. It is saved, and now I will perform the test and we can see. So let's see how it behaves when it runs. So I need to remove the load which I have put recently in this test case. So I'm going with one thread and ramp up period 1 second. So guys, if I run that test case, so if I just run it and go to the summary editor, it will run only for the one time and it is giving me error. The login API is giving me error. I go to the result tree, I click on the API, and let's just find out why it is giving the error. So yeah, it is giving me response code 200, right? Response message, okay, but it is giving me error on the other hand. So why? Because if I see my assertion is on the response message, so I need to verify whether my response message is getting me 200 or response header or response code is 200. So let's go to login, and if I go to login, oh sorry, if I go to the result tree, if I go to login, and if I go to the response data, there are two things in the response body and response header. Response body, there is no 200, right? In response header, there is 200. So I need to make sure that my assertion should be on response header and not the body. If I go here, it's a response message, which is a response body. So if I put it here in the response header, and if I save it, and if I refresh my results, and if I run it again, now it is getting passed. So you just saw the difference of the configuration. So your configuration should be important in putting the assertion, whether the assertion you are putting is on response code, response message, response header, whether it is appearing in main sample or subsamples. So it is very important. So in our case, now it is looking for 200 in the response header rather than response body. So that's why it is passed now. And one more thing we can do is we can go to thread, add listener. So within listener, there is assertion result. So if I put assertion result, and if I just clear my results and run the test again, as you can see in this listener, so listener is where the results are logged. So for assertion results, there is assertion result name listener already available in JMeter. If you are putting any assertion, you need to use assertion result, and within that assertion result you will see your result if pass. So for example, if I fail it on purpose, let's put it back to, or let's change the code. So code is 201. If I save it, if I refresh the result, and if I run the test, so you see It is now failing because of the wrong error, wrong code. So now, as you can see in the assertion result, what it is saying, result response assertion test failed, headers expected to contain 201, as you can see here, right? So it is saying that it is expecting in the response header code should be 201, but the code is 200. So after you put the assertion, you need to use, it is recommended to use assertion result type listener in your test plan so that you know why it is failing. So why, what was expected and what is actual. So expected is, so it is saying in login type API, it is expecting 201. So then what will do? You will go to the login and you will see, oh, okay. So you will go to the result tree, you will go to the login, and login, within login, you can see assertion, response assertion, assertion error false, assertion failure true, assertion failure message test field header expected to contain 201. So assertion result is used when you need to submit or analyze the report of assertions only. So that's better. And within view result tree, still it will show the failure, but it will show all sort of failures. The failures where you don't have assertions, it will show them as well. But in assertion result, the difference is it will only show those errors which has assertion. So So that's it from this class. So at least you will have the idea how to put assertion in your test, and there are different kind of assertions. You can simply try a different type of assertions as well. So that's it from this class.